had these two incredible experiences. You learned to channel. You started doing it. There
Right.
was, incredible interest. At that point, did you think, well, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life?
I had no idea how long this would last. Now Bashar initially said that the agreement was for 9 years and anything else was up to me. Because at the 9 year mark, there would be enough information that the basic principles he wanted to share with us would have been delivered by then. But in the ensuing years, he's been able to bring through a lot more details about it, a lot more in-depth information about what's going on in this transformational age, I guess, if you want to call it.
Definitely.
And so, it's been exciting and interesting for me to continue with it, to learn more about his perspective. It also makes great changes in me because I get to feel what he feels like when I'm channeling him. And, their society is very, very different. Their perspective is very different from ours. And I've learned a lot just by allowing the channeling to come through. So it's exciting and interesting and fascinating for me to continue doing. I don't know how long it'll last.
Okay.
But right now, I don't see any particular end to it. But there are changes coming up, with how it's being presented. As we change, then it changes to accommodate what's going on with us. So I don't know exactly how it'll ultimately continue to express itself. But
Yes.
at the moment, I'm still doing it along with my film career, which is a parallel career I've been doing for about the same amount of time, 30 years. I started in special effects, building miniatures, doing storyboards and sets, and more recently in the last few years switched to writing, producing, and directing. And we're now in the process of actually bringing the two careers together in a documentary about how I became a channel and who Bashar is. And we're almost done with that. It's called First Contact, and we're hoping to be done within the next couple of months in post-production on that documentary.
So where did the idea come from to do this in the first place? I know you've just explained your history to us and to others, but where did the idea come from to do a movie about your experience?
Well, I mean, that was natural for me because I am a filmmaker and I've been in the film business. So it was kind of like, well, this kind of story has never been told. How does someone become a channel? What is channeling? How do you explain this kind of thing? How do you make it available to the public to demystify it? And so we thought, well, maybe now's the time. And synchronistically, a lot of things started coming together that really demonstrated that it would be a good time to start making a movie about how someone becomes a channel,
Yeah.
who Bashar is, what the messages are all about. And the other aspect to it is that, according to Bashar, this information being delivered by him, being that he's ostensibly, theoretically, an extraterrestrial entity, that this information is a prelude to actual physical contact with our civilization. So we cover that idea in the documentary as well. It's like, well, what kind of changes would happen in our society if we did have open contact with an extraterrestrial civilization? So we're exploring all of that in the documentary. And in fact, we actually do recreations, reenactments of the UFO sighting that I had to show, how that happened and the history. One of the things that I also am excited about is, when I channel Bashar and he's talking about his civilization and his people and all that, I get to see what all that looks like in my head because I get images. It's like falling into a daydream and I see images and things like that, but the audience never gets to see that.
Right.
So through the magic of special effects, we're going to be able to show people, here's what Bashar looks like, here's what his planet looks like, what his ships look like, and a lot of illustrations of his principles and concepts that I think will be easier for people to understand and absorb. So we're very excited about presenting the information in this new way through a documentary.
Oh, I think it's going to be absolutely fascinating. Do you see yourself going forward as a filmmaker or as a channel or both?
Both at the moment. Again, they're parallel careers, and right now they're dovetailing, very well. We'll spend whatever time we need to in terms of creating a film, but there are lulls in between projects and things like that. So then I can go back and shift back to doing the sessions for the channeling when it's convenient on the schedule, and vice versa.
So as a result of watching the First Contact documentary, what are you hoping the average person will take away from seeing it?
Well, I'm hoping at the very least there are some very interesting new ideas and perspectives in this documentary about how life works, how reality works, based on a lot of Bashar's principles. They'll maybe walk away just going, okay, let's think about the idea of what would happen if we did have contact with an extraterrestrial civilization. But what I'm mostly hoping happens is a big demystification of the whole channeling thing, metaphysics and things like that, because it's been considered woo-woo for so long.
Definitely.
You know, very fringe, very new age. And we want to bring it down into a grounded understanding because it is a real experience, and therefore it's got to be, at least to some degree, explainable within the reality that we understand. And so one of the things that we're most excited about in the documentary is I did a channeling session with my head wired to an EEG machine, a brainwave reading machine. So we could see what's going on in the brain. Is there actually changes happening in the brain when I'm channeling? Is it a true altered state? And we have discovered that it is. We have very strong documented evidence now, scientific evidence based on what we did, that we demonstrate and explain very clearly in the documentary what happens in the brain, what the altered state is really all about, what's turning on, what's shutting off in the brain. It is a truly altered state, and that's one of the things I'm most excited to demonstrate in the documentary, so people can start realizing this is something that everyone can do. It's a natural thing that we all can do. People think it's this big esoteric kind of thing,
Right.
but people who meditate get into the same state. People who are in the zone doing a peak performance are in the same state. Anytime you're doing what you love to do and you know you're not paying attention to the passage of time, you feel like 5 minutes has gone by, you look up, it's been an hour, you're in a channeling state.
Okay.
So it's really just about understanding this is a natural thing we all do from time to time, and it's about how do you want to focus it to create more creativity in your life, to create more understanding, bringing more information through,
Yes.
different perspectives through that can help us in constructive and positive ways. So that's really what the channeling state is all about, is being at our best, being in that zone that we can perform in our lives in the most creative and effortless way. And that's what I'm really hoping people will take away from the movie most of all.
And as a final question, many people have talked about the vision that they've had for their project. So, for example, Bill Gates wanted to see a computer on every desktop. Oprah Winfrey had always dreamt about the color purple and being in the
Right.
color purple, and then, of course, manifested that. So what is your highest vision for the movie First Contact?
Well, like I said, obviously I believe just intrinsically the people that need to see it will see it.
Okay.
So that's kind of automatically taken care of. I don't even need to necessarily hold that as a vision because I just know that's how things work. People attract what they need to attract. The people that don't need to see it won't see it. But that's not my audience, so it doesn't matter. But what I would like I said, people to take away from it is that they are more than they think they are. That this world is more amazing and mysterious than we've been taught to believe that it is. That these unusual, surreal, and magical things actually are going on all around us all the time, and we just need the vision to see them. One of the most important things I think that we say in the movie, especially with respect to the things like extraterrestrial or other dimensional beings, is that first contact isn't really about them not being here and coming here and making contact. First contact is about us getting to the point where we realize and are capable of perceiving that they've always been here, and we're just waking up to that fact. And that would be nice for people to walk away from with that understanding. Plus, again, the demystification of all this stuff, bringing it down to earth, making it part of our practical understanding of how reality works. To me, that would probably be one of the most important things I would like people to walk away with. None of this is crazy or woo-woo. It's just another way of looking at life. It's another way of expanding our consciousness. It's another way of understanding who we really are and what our connection to creation is really all about. And that would be nice if they'd walk away with that too.
To watch the 4-part Q&A with Darryl, subscribe on YouTube.